Adi Leela, please. Thank you. Ready to go? Thank you. This is the tune to Yasamati Nandana, Brajabaranagara. Right? So it's a nice morning tune. So let's see how we go. Huh? Jaya Sachinandana Suramuni Vandana Bhavabhaya Kandana Jayo. Hey, listen to me. Dana Bhavabhaya Kandana Jayo. Jaya Sachinandana Suramuni Vandana Bhavabhaya Kandana Jayo. Hey Dana Suramuni Vandana Kandana Jayo. Jaya Hari Kirtana Natana Vatana Natana Vatana Jaya Hari Kirtana Natana Vatana Tana Natana Vatana Kali Mala Kirtana Jayo He Jaya Kali Mala Kirtana Jayo He Nayana Purandara Vishvarupa Snedahara Vishvarupa Snehada Nayana Purandara Vishvarupa Snehadara Vishvarupa Snehadara Vishvambara Vishvera Kalyana Vishvambara Vishvera Kalyana Jaya Lakshmi Vishnu Priya Vishvambara Priya Hiya Jaya Priya Jaya Priya Kinkara Ishana Jaya Lakshmi Vishnu Priya Vishvambara Priya Hiya Jaya Jaya Priya Kinkara Ishana Shriya Sita Advaita Rai Malini Srivasa Joy Shri Sita Advaita Rai Malina Srivasa Joy Jaya Chandrasekhara Acharya Acharya Jaya Chandrasekhara Acharya Acharya Jaya Nityananda Rai Gadadhara Jaya Jaya Rai Gadadhara Jaya Jaya Nityananda Rai Gadadhara Jaya Jaya Rai Gadadhara Jaya Jaya Haridasa Namacharya Jaya Haridasa Namacharya Murari Mukunda Jai Premanidhi Mahasai Jai Jaya Jata Prabhu Parishada Vandi Savakara Payada Mere Kripa Hoy Payada Mere Kripa Vandi Savakara Payada Mere Kripa Hoy Mere Kripa Bhakti Saparshada Prabhupada Parshada Prabhupada Bhakti Saparshada Prabhupada Jaya Sachinanda Sura Muni Vandana Bhava Dana Vandana Bhavabhaya Kandana Jayo He Jayo He. All glories to Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the son of Sachi Devi. Great sages and demigods always sing his praise, for by doing so the fear of repeated birth and death is cut to pieces. All glories to the kirtan of the holy name of Krishna, for when one chants the holy name of Krishna and dances in ecstasy, the filth of this iron age of Kali disappears. Sri Chaitanya delights all eyes with his charming beauty. He is the most dearly beloved Lord of all, and the intimate brother of Vishvarupa. He brings the highest auspiciousness to everyone, for he floods the entire universe with the nectar of love of Godhead, and thus saves all living beings. All glories to Lakshmi Priya and Vishnu Priya Devi, who are very dear to Sri Nimai Pandit. All glories to their dear family servant Ishan. All glories to Sita Takarani and Sri Advaita Acharya. All glories to Malini Devi and Srivas Thakur, and all glories to Acharya Chandrasekhara. All glories to Srila Nityananda Prabhu, Gadadhara Pandit and Haridas Thakur, the Namacharya. All glories to Murari Gupta, and all glories to Mukunda Datta. All glories to all the other eternal associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. By singing the glories of Srila Prabhupada and all those great souls who are eternal associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even the lowest of men can obtain the highest treasure of divine love. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Brinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Brinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Brinda. So we're reading from text number 4, first chapter of the Adi Leela of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Anapita charim charat karunaya vatirna kalo. Samapayitam unatujvala rasam svabhakti sriyam. Hari Purata Sundara Jyoti Kadamba Sandipitaha. Sada Hridaya Kandarais Spuratu va Satchinandanaha. Anapita, not bestowed. Charim, having been formerly. Chirat, for a long time. Karunaya, by causeless mercy. Avatirnaha, descended. Kalo, in the age of Kali. Samapaitum, to bestow. Unnata, elevated. Ujvala rasam, the conjugal mellow. Svabhakti, of his own service. Sriyam, the treasure. Harahi, the Supreme Lord. Purata, than gold. Sundara, more beautiful. Duty, of splendor. Kadamba, with a multitude. Sandipitaha, lighted up. Lighted up. Lit up. Shouldn't it be? Lighted up. Lit up. Anyway, it's both are correct. Lighted up. Okay. Sada, always. Hridaya Kandare, in the cavity of the heart. Spuratu, let him be manifest. Vaha, your. Sachinandana, the son of Mother Sachi. May the Supreme Lord, who is known as the son of Srimati Sachi Devi, be transcendentally situated in the innermost chambers of your heart. Resplendent with the radiance of molten gold, he has appeared in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow what no incarnation has ever offered before. The most sublime and radiant mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. And there's no purport. There's no purport, but Prabhupada did speak on this verse in Mayapur in 1973, actually. Oma Gyanati Mirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Jena Tasmaye Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadatikam Yat Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Gurim Yat Kripa Tamaham Bande Sri Gurum Dinatarinam. So, who wrote this verse? Do you think? Hands up if you know who wrote the verse. Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami. Well, yes, because he wrote the book. But somebody else wrote the verse. Govinda Hari. Rupa Goswami. Yes, yes, this is Rupa Goswami's verse from the Ujvala Nilamani, is it? Yes, yeah, I think so, yep. So, not that I'm a great scholar, by the way. If you do a thorough research using Google and a bit of AI these days, you can look like a great scholar, a pundit. But all you have to do is just say, tell me the main points of this verse. Which is okay, it's all right. We can, Rupa Goswami is our leader. Right? Rupa Goswami is our leader, and he's one of the main teachings of Rupa Goswami is Yukta Vairagya. Use everything in Krishna's service. Right? And don't reject those things that can be used in Krishna's service. That's false. Pagul Vairagya, false renunciation. So, I have to admit, I asked AI, what verse shall I speak on tomorrow? What's the best verse? So it chose this one. So pretty good when you think about it though. And Prabhupada did talk on this verse, which I looked at his class. So, and it's very interesting because Rupa Goswami is giving a blessing here. What's that blessing? What's the blessing that Rupa Goswami is giving? Put your hands up if you know what it is, if you think you know what it is. Otherwise 5 people speak and I can't. What? Ooh, yes, that's true. But before that, what does he... Yes, he's giving the blessings that Lord Chaitanya be situated within your heart. Isn't that amazing? Right? Now, in the context of Rupa Goswami giving those blessings, what's the relationship between Rupa Goswami and Lord Chaitanya? Huh? What's the relationship? Yes, who said that? Arjun Shaka, go to the top of the class. Yeah. Rupa Goswami is honouring his guru. Of course, his guru happens to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And of course, Rupa Goswami happens to be Rupa Manjari. Very interesting. We should understand these relationships. We hear sometimes the devotees say, oh, Radharani is doing the cooking in the kitchen. No, we don't assist Radharani, we assist the Manjaris. We may be fortunate to assist Srimati Radharani, but it is always through the service to the Manjaris. This is why Prabhupada says, we are servants of who? First and foremost, who are we servants of? Hang on, hands up if you think you know. Who are we servants of? Hands up. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, okay. Krishna Dasi. Of who? Krishna. You are. Yes. Jivara Swarupa Hoy. Nichara Krishna Das, confirmed by Shastra. Yes, but how do we manifest that service? Krishna Das. We'll hear from Krishna. Yes, servants of the servants. Gopi Bhatu Padakamalayo Dasa Das Anudas. Anudas, yeah. So, we're the servant, and what's the most confidential secret of the Bhagavad Gita? Most confidential teaching of the Bhagavad Gita. Hands up if you think you know it, and you have to tell me what the verse number is. Right? No hands are going up. No, it's important, but it's not what we're looking for. test. This is a bit of a... I'm the one who knows the answer and I haven't really given you very many clues. But how do we get to Manmana Bhava Mad Bhakto? Gopa? 434. Go to the top of the class. Gopa Vrindesh. Yeah. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya upadeksyanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadashanaha. By approaching those who know the truth. Right? And who's the truth? Who's the truth? Yes. Yes. Satyam param dhimahi. Interesting, huh? That's the Bhagavatam. Janmadyasya yataha. The person from whom we all come. From everything comes. Right? And the person who bewilders everybody with his energies. Right? But he himself is unbewildered. He knows everything. Either directly he experiences it or indirectly he experiences it. But how do we get to know Krishna? By this tadvid, by serving the Guru. Right? And how does that, in ISKCON, how does that service manifest? Service to the initiating Guru, service to the Siksha Gurus, and pretty much within ISKCON, service to the preeminent Siksha Guru, our Founder-Acharya, Srila Prabhupada. Right? It's funny, you know, in India, when I go to India these days, everybody thinks I'm a Prabhupada disciple. I'm grey enough, right? Grey enough to be qualified. And it's a bit embarrassing, really, you know. If I had this fellow come to our door in the conch building, knocked on the door. I opened up the door and he said, "Oh, Hare Krishna, are you a Prabhupada disciple?" And it looked like he was selling books. Looked like he's a Russian selling books. And then he said to me, and I said, "No, well, yes and no. You know, how do you answer that?" Because Prabhupada says, he lives forever by his divine instructions and the follower lives with him. Right, this is the beginning of the Bhagavatam. So if we're following Prabhupada, are we not his disciples? You better be, otherwise you're not following him. Right? So, and then when I explained, you know, what I was, or might be, or what I'm aspiring to be, he said, "Oh, sorry," and then he left. I thought, what was that about? Although the Russian devotees were distributing the little murtis of Prabhupada, so maybe it had something to do with that. So we're initiated either by Prabhupada, if we're old enough, or if we're younger, we're initiated by a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, but we're still a follower of our Founder-Acharya. And who does our Founder-Acharya tell us we are followers of who? Rupa Goswami. Yeah, Rupa Goswami. And Rupa Goswami is giving us these blessings, this blessing. May Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu be situated in your heart. Right? And now, how is Sri Chaitanya going to be situated in our hearts? How is that going to be possible? Sankirtan, yes, yep, definitely. And of course, there are a number. This is why Rupa Goswami is so important to us, right? Why Srila Prabhupada is so important to us. why all of the devotees are so important to us, and why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission and his the environment that he's created for all of the devotees is so special. You know, when I was 15, I read Hermann Hesse's Siddhartha. Had a big impact on me. After I read that book, I decided I wanted to be a vegetarian, and I wanted to be a yogi. More than anything, I wanted to be a yogi. And you know, my idea of a yogi was go to the Himalayas and find a cave and meditate. I was attracted to yoga, and I had that book, The Light of Yoga. Anyway, I can't. So many books, so many books, and when I did, you know, breathing and stand on my head and all that kind of stuff, twisting my body into a pretzel, I felt peace. I felt, you know, because the yoga practice basically is designed, the Ashtanga yoga system is designed to calm the mind and the senses. And I felt that. So I thought, you know, we're onto something here. But, you know, now don't think that I was a pure devotee, because I wasn't. I was also going to, you know, hanging out with my mates and doing things that were totally antithetical to devotional service. But I had that desire to be a yogi, and but a completely mixed up idea of what being a yogi was. And when I attempted to make advancement and, you know, try looking for that peace, for that calmness that comes from the practice of yoga, I couldn't maintain it. Couldn't maintain it at all. So, you know, whenever the latest band was in town, then I was off to the concert or whatever. And, you know, go down the pub and watch Skyhooks. It's an era. It's an era, a bygone era of Aussie culture. But things happened. Things happened to me, and I met the devotees, and then the devotees told me, if you want to be a yogi, here's what you do. Right? Chant 16 rounds. Follow these rules. Right? And I got a book. Everybody gets a book, right? Have a guess what my first book was. What do you think? What? No. Nobody can guess what the book was. Cookbook. Yeah. It was a cookbook. Because I decided I was going to be a vegetarian. So by 19, Acharya Rupa and I were living together, and we decided to be vegetarians. And we knew where the three cookbooks, the three vegetarian cookbooks in Adelaide were. We went and bought them, and one of them was at the Hare Krishna temple. So I plucked up the courage to go to the temple, and in those days, the Adelaide temple was in Frome Street. You had to go down an alley, and the door was locked, and you had to press on a buzzer. Bzzzt. Then a devotee would poke their head out. What do you want? I said, I want to buy a cookbook. I said, okay, push the door. Right, so you hear the buzzer. Bzzzt. The door opens, and in you go, and then the door closes. I thought, uh-oh, I'm trapped now. They've got me. So I went up the stairs, and the devotee who served me said, I'll go and get a book. So I bought the book and then left with that book. And of course, in the book, I read that when you're cooking, you should be cooking with a mood of devotion, of bhakti. Make an offering, right? I also read about the 4 rules, right? So, very interesting. And that had a big impact on me, because I realised that within the association of the devotees and within the practice of Krishna consciousness, this was something that I could do. You know, there's no way I could go to the Himalayas or anywhere. Right? Try going to the hills of the Mount Macedon Ranges, for example, and being a yogi. Right? You'll get hungry. You'll be looking for the Hare Krishna temple very quickly, because you want something to eat. So, and you know, when I started going to the temple and having prasadam, that sealed the deal, actually. But I'd learned from meeting the devotees, chant 16 rounds, follow these rules, cook your food as an offering. So we had an altar at home. And, you know, my friends all thought that I was crazy, because I'd stopped bad habits and was going to the temple, and happily so, enthusiastically so, because I could see that by associating with the devotees wasn't popular in those days. Terribly unpopular in the broader mass of the Australian psyche. Hare Krishnas were just plain weird. Crazy. They were crazy. My friends used to tell me the Hare Krishnas are all crazy. And I think, hang on a second. There's got to be something behind this. So I thought, let's at least give the Hare Krishnas the benefit of the doubt, because I like to chant Hare Krishna. And I was attracted to the kirtan party. So what, and you know, this is all coming from Prabhupada, ultimately coming from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, from Bhaktivedanta Thakur, from Rupa Goswami. And that's the whole, and we're experiencing it. We all experience this feeling when we come to the temple. Then there's a total absorption and a total engagement in all of the things that we do as part of this culture that Prabhupada has given us, but ultimately has come from Rupa Goswami, and ultimately has come from Lord Chaitanya, right? So if we want to take Rupa Goswami's blessings so that Lord Chaitanya will be resident in our heart, in his splendour, right, which is described here. Golden, hued, effulgent, and as is described here in this verse, very compassionate and merciful to everybody, even the most fallen persons of Kali Yuga. Lord Chaitanya, and this is, it's mentioned here, what is it? Avatirna. Karunaya Vatirna Kalo. In Kali Yuga, the most merciful avatar has appeared. And he's giving, here it mentions, having been formerly not bestowed for a long time. But Prabhupada always says, never given before. Never given before, right? So, You know, when I saw the devotees chanting Hare Krishna, I mentioned this, but even Gaura Mandala Bhumi used to lead the kirtan a lot. And Gaura Mandala Bhumi is one of those people who you can see the whites of their eyes all the time, right? Like he's seen a ghost or something, you know. And he would always lead the kirtan very intensely. And so I was attracted to the kirtan, but at the same time I'd see Gaura Mandala Bhumi staring, and I think, whoa, watch out. Get mixed up with these guys, you're finished. Right? But still attractive. Right? Which is, of course, Krishna's character, Krishna's personality. And Lord Chaitanya's personality, right? We used to go to the temple, and after an evening or an afternoon and an evening of service, we'd leave and we'd go home, and Ajahn Rupa and I used to say, "Whoa, that was intense. Whew, wow." But then the next morning, I got to go back to the temple. Got to keep, you know, whatever it was. How does Prabhupada describe it? Too hot to sustain, I guess, but too sweet to resist. That's the Bengali tomato chutney, right? So there's a culture, there's a atmosphere, there's an environment, and it comes from the practice of devotional service, right? Chanting 16 rounds, following the rules, offering service, especially service to the deities, service to Prabhupada, in preaching, as Mahatma said, Sankirtan, right? This is Lord Chaitanya's, there's the process, but having received that mercy of Rupa Goswami and Srila Prabhupada, and having Lord Chaitanya within the heart, one will then be inspired, right? One will be inspired to give Krishna, give this feeling and this satisfaction and this peacefulness that comes from the practice of Krishna consciousness. One will want to give it to others, because that's what Lord Chaitanya's mood is. Even if a person is not qualified, right? How many of us, well, at least I know, I was not qualified. I was attracted, but I wasn't qualified, right? So how many of us can say, yep, I'm qualified to receive Lord Chaitanya's mercy? Well, that we're fallen makes us qualified, right? Yes, we are qualified. And so Lord Chaitanya is liberally giving this rasa, or this taste, right? This taste of bhakti, and especially this, what is it? Unata Ujvala Rasam Swabhakti Sriyam, the Supreme Lord. Okay, so this is interesting. Lord Chaitanya, by his causeless mercy, has descended into the age of Kali. And what is he giving? That which has never been given before. Right? That which has never been given before. And so what's that? The most elevated knowledge, the most elevated knowledge, the most elevated experience, the most, what is it? This is the most confidential knowledge. Ujvala rasam svabhakti sriyam. The conjugal mellow of his own service. So Lord, and this is very interesting because Krishna, Lord Chaitanya is actually Krishna himself. Right? Actually Krishna himself. But he's coming in the mood of a devotee. Coming in the mood of a devotee. And so that's why he's, instead of blackish, what is it? Tvija Krishnam? What is it? Krishnavanam Tvija Krishnam. Krishna in truth, but not blackish. He's golden. Right? And that golden form is because he's accepted the mood of Srimati Radharani. And in that mood is distributing freely that topmost rasa of service to Krishna in the mood of the gopis. The topmost devotees. Which is why, in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, we start off right from the beginning, the creation, and we go through all the stories of the different kings and whatever, but ultimately get to the point of the 10th canto where we're introduced to the topmost devotees. We've met Prahlad Maharaj, we've met Dhruva Maharaj, we've met Narada Muni, we've associated with Yudhishthira and Arjun, the Pandavas. We get this engagement with so many, and it's interesting, isn't it? Because the Bhagavatam tips things upside down all the time, right? So we get the topmost devotees, but what are they? They're in the biggest of demon families, right? Prahlad Maharaj he's a demon. What about Bali Maharaj? He's a demon. Even Sutta Goswami is not a Brahmana. Right? So all the sages of Naimisharanya have come together, and who do they choose to hear from? You would think they would go for the top, the topmost caste, because they're the best. The Brahmanas are the best, right? No. They go for the devotee who's the most qualified. The most qualified. And what does that mean actually? Who's the most qualified devotee? Raise your hands if you know who's the most qualified devotee. Please raise your hands. What do they look like? What are the characteristics of the most qualified devotees? Hands up. Yes. Yes. What else? Hands up, so we can concentrate. Somebody. Huh? Yes. Yeah. But what's first qualification? Yes. Yep. Huh? Yes, they know the science of devotion. But what are the characteristics? Yes. Humble. Yeah, all of these are right. But there's certain qualifications that we're looking for, mentioned by Rupa Goswami right in the beginning of the Nectar of Devotion. Yes, but not what we're looking for. Somebody's saying it. Yes, yep. But free from what? Yes. Anyabhilashita sunyam jnana karma jnanavritam. Their devotional service is not covered by any material desires. Pretty far out, huh? Does anybody here have problems with material desires? Please raise your hands if you don't. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah. And how do we become pure? And this is the qualification of the gopis. The gopis didn't have any material aspirations. And so they were prepared to give up their husbands. They were prepared to give up their reputations. They were prepared to give up anything to serve Krishna. That was their qualification. They weren't big jnanis. Right? Although it's interesting, Sutta Goswami had the qualifications that you mentioned previously. Right? He obviously was prepared to give up everything because he'd been blessed by his gurus with transcendental knowledge. He'd served them with sincerity and authenticity. He was pure in heart. Prabhupada mentions this in the Bhagavatam. Right? So there's a qualification of a devotee, prepared to give up anything for Krishna. Right? What's the hardest thing for you to think about? Just reflect for a moment. What's the hardest thing to give up for Krishna? Have you got it? Usually comes to mind pretty quickly. Okay, this is your homework. Work on that. Be prepared to give it up. Whatever it is, we've got to give it up. Right? Sava dharmam parityaja, give up the dharma. But what is the dharma? The highest dharma is sharanam braja, surrender to Krishna. And the gopis were the highest, or are the highest example. The residents of Vrindavan are the highest example of surrender to Krishna. That's why the Bhagavatam gradually brings us to the point of the 10th canto and then introduces us to Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, you know, all of the residents of Vrindavan that are Krishna's family effectively. Huh? And the gopis gave up everything, even their chastity. Huh? When Krishna stole their clothes. Isn't it interesting how we're meditating on the Satyam Param Dhimahi, right? And then we look at his character and we think, hang on a second, this is the Satyam Param? Right? So that's why the Bhagavatam leads us up to this point, carefully, to look at Dhruva Maharaj, to look at Prahlad Maharaj, to look at Bali Maharaj, to look how Krishna interacts with his devotees. Right? I'll just have 3 steps. Right? And of course, 3 steps from a dwarf, nothing, right? But what does he do? Takes up the whole universe. That's with 2 steps. So, very interesting to see how the character and the personality of the Param Dhimahi, the Satyam Param, the topmost truth. Look at his character, look at his personality. Right? So we have to become familiar. This is what the Bhagavatam does. This is what our service does. Service to the Guru, service to Prabhupada, service to Lord Chaitanya and the Sankirtan mission. One of the toughest things for me was to go out on Harinam. Right? Because then that meant I had to be one of the crazies. All my friends would be looking at me, oh, what are you up to? Right? You're one of the crazy Hare Krishnas. And the next thing, that was tough. But the next thing was to shave my head. Ooh, that was really hard. It's easy now. Much easier. So, it's giving up. Giving up. But of course, it's very interesting actually. Rupa Goswami says, give up, but don't give up. Right? Give up, but don't give up. And so, and also interesting, we hear, the idea of a yogi for me was go and live in the Himalayas and, be a celibate ascetic. Huh? And that was going to be pretty tough because I'd already been living with my girlfriend for 4 years. Huh? Then I found out with the Hare Krishnas you could bring your girlfriend along, it's okay. So, okay, this is all right. Huh? Very attractive. You can do everything. You can be renounced, but also use things, family life, for example, in Krishna's service. So, very interesting how that mood of renunciation, that determination to serve the spiritual master and to serve Krishna without holding on to material concepts, right, is very attractive and is doable even though we may be at school or a grandmother or a mother and father working in the secular world, right? We can do those things, but at the same time make advancement in Krishna consciousness with that mood of, Lord Chaitanya exemplified it. Nadanam najanam nasundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamaye mama janmani jamanishvare bhavatad bhakti ahoitiki tvaye. Please give me that desire to serve you without any motivation. Right? Give up the things that I don't need, right? Anatta. Let me give up the things that I don't need, that are actually holding me back from relishing this mellow that Lord Chaitanya is teaching. And Lord Chaitanya is teaching through the process of devotional service. Rupa Goswami is teaching through the process of devotional service. Srila Prabhupada's teaching, and we should be teaching others, we should be doing it ourselves, and then giving it to others, because that's what Lord Chaitanya intended when he's distributing this, what is it? Ujjvala rasam svabhakti sriyam, the treasure of his own service in the mood of the residents of Vrindavan. And the highest residents of Vrindavan that everybody worships and everybody glorifies and everybody aspires to follow, even the other residents of Vrindavan aspire to follow in the footsteps of the gopis. Very, very interesting. So Rupa Goswami is giving us this blessing to hold Lord Chaitanya within our hearts, right? And so in the beginning of the Bhagavatam, in the beginning of the Nectar of Devotion, which is basically, here's how to be a Hare Krishna, right? Here's how to be a devotee. And he says, Anyabhilasita shunyam jnana kamajjana vritam. Make sure that your mood or your service is performed in that really renounced, actually, mood, and that is, I serve you, Krishna, without any desire for personal benefit. So we're able to place Lord Chaitanya within our hearts by the mercy of Rupa Goswami. And it's interesting, that's the beginning, in the beginning of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yes, these verses are written by Krishna Das Kaviraj, right? That's true, but he got them from Rupa Goswami, right? And we offer our prayers to Rupa Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam. He knew the mind of Lord Chaitanya, right? And his purpose, Sri Chaitanya Mano Bishtam Stapitam Jaina Bhutale, and what his mission was on earth, right? He wrote the verse, didn't he? Namo Mahavadanyaya. You're the most merciful, the most magnanimous. Krishna Prema Pradaya. You're giving Krishna Prema to anybody and everybody. Right? When we go out on Harinam, we're handing out tasters. Right? You know what a taster is? It's when you're, say if you're selling some food, right, we hand out pakoras, right? Cauliflower pakora with apple chutney. I'm thinking of Korma's Sunday feast. Whew. So, and you see it, you know, when we go on Harinam, and for a moment or two, you're walking down Burke Street, right? And you're looking around thinking, oh, we're in Burke Street, right? But as you become absorbed in the chanting of Hare Krishna, you leave Burke Street entirely. And you're in the spiritual world, pretty much, right? Lord Chaitanya elevates all, Prabhupada, Rupa Goswami, Lord Chaitanya elevate us to that highest stage of relishing bhava bhakti through Sankirtan. Right? And so when we go out on Harinam and we're in that mood of service to Lord Chaitanya and the previous acharyas, and by that mood of service we're elevated onto the transcendental platform, that mood or that experience is felt by others, right? It's felt by others. We felt it. Really, I felt it when I saw the Harinam party and I thought, whoa, these guys are weird. But there's something going on there. So that's Lord Chaitanya. Sankirtan prayer yujanti hi sumeda saha. People with just a little bit of intelligence, the most intelligent actually, are those who surrender to the Sankirtan mission, and that is giving it to others. That's Lord Chaitanya's mood, and that will be our mood as well. If we can just give up those things that we're hanging on to that are actually obstacles on our path of making advancement in Krishna consciousness, then we'll experience that mellow, that mood of devotional service by the practice of bhakti, but especially if you want to experience the highest taste, that is taking up the preaching. Chanting 16 rounds, following the rules, serving the deity, associating with the devotees, studying the books, studying our philosophy, all of that is a precursor to, once we understand those things that we know, Lord Chaitanya's mission is Krishna Prema Pradayate. Give Krishna Prema to others. He's giving it to us. Why we celebrate such a wonderful occasion as Gaura Purnima is because we appreciate what we've got, but as our appreciation for these gifts increases, then we'll want to give that to others. And so in one sense, that's what we're attempting to create here. That association of the devotees where our mission individually and as a group is to give Krishna Prem to others. And automatically we'll get looked after. We'll our experience will be that we'll have Lord Chaitanya within our hearts and will be feeling the benefits thereof. So, now, he's more beautiful than gold. Yeah, may he always be situated in the cavity of the heart. Sandipitaha, lighted up, lit up, lit up. Got to be lit up. But anyway, maybe that's how Prabhupada translated it, and so they left it like that. Satchinandana. May Satchinandana be situated within the core of your heart. So today's the day to get that, to have Lord Chaitanya within the heart and experience that highest level of Krishna prema, that is the mood of devotional service, following in the footsteps of the residents of Vrindavan, and especially that mood of service exhibited by the gopis. Right? And we approach that by approaching Srila Prabhupada, Rupa Goswami, and Rupa Goswami as represents Lord Chaitanya and that mood of service, but also following in the footsteps of the manjaris. To be an associate of the gopis is like you're a Nitya Siddha. We're aspiring to be Nitya Siddhas, and that's where the manjaris are very merciful to the conditioned souls, to the fallen souls, and they give an opportunity to render some service. And so therefore Prabhupada says, Gopi Bhatu, the master of the gopis, Dasa Das, Gopi Bhatu Padakamalayo, Dasa Das Anudas. We are servants of the servants of the servant, of the servants of the master of the gopis. So in that way, we become advanced, actually, and eligible to enter into that realm of transcendental devotional service to Krishna. And yeah, Prabhupada says this is the most advanced, right? He says, you know, if you think you're the master, right, he says, then you're in hell. Because sometimes we like to think, yep, I'm the spiritual master and I'll tell you all what to do. Right? But actually the mood of the devotees is, no, I'm a servant. And Prabhupada says the more times removed we think of ourselves as a servant, the more advanced we are. Right? So very interesting. That's the mood that's the mood of Lord Chaitanya. He's the one who says the prayer, right? I'm the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. So in that way, becoming the servant of the servant of the servant without material motivations makes us qualified then to have a pure heart. And within that pure heart, if we're meditating on the instructions of Rupa Goswami, given to us by Prabhupada, then that's the methodology by which we can have Lord Chaitanya, and then ultimately if you have Krishna within the heart, Lord Chaitanya within the heart, then Krishna will also be there. That's the interesting potency of the Sankirtan process, is that when we have Lord Chaitanya and the residents of Navadvip within the heart, then automatically the our relationship with Krishna and the residents of Vrindavan will be automatically manifest. So through the chanting of Hare Krishna, especially. Okay, so I'll finish here. Does anybody have any comments or questions?
Tell us something about Manjari.
What's that?
Manjari.
I don't know much about the Manjaris, to be honest.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thanks for the class. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya said someone who chants Krishna's name once is a devotee.
Yes.
Or he considers as a devotee.
Yeah.
So how can we understand that someone who chants Krishna's name once
Is a devotee.
Yeah.
Because that's a symptom of a devotee, is they chant Hare Krishna. So, and you know, if they only chant Krishna once, they're not a very advanced devotee. Right? One of the symptoms of advancement is that a devotee is attached to chanting. Right? Yeah. So just see how magnanimous Lord Chaitanya is. Right? And Krishna are, in that they accept a person even if they only once chant Krishna's name. So where does that put us? When we're always attempting to chant at least 16 rounds a day, where does that put us? Very, 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 very fortunate. Right? Yeah. But how does a devotee feel? Fortunate and unfortunate. Huh? Because, okay, I chant 16 rounds, but sometimes, what am I doing? Where's my head? Chanting Hare Krishna sometimes feels like chewing on cardboard. Huh? Then some days I feel so much ecstasy. Ah, joy! This is what it's all about. Hari Bol. Huh? So, we always encourage people to chant Hare Krishna. And we appreciate those devotees who do chant Krishna's name. But Rupa Goswami also recommends and encourages us to discriminate between Uttama Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari and Kadishta Adhikari. So a beginner, a middle level devotee, and then a very advanced devotee, because their mood of service and their mood of renunciation will be closer to that of the residents of Vrindavan, right? And those devotees will manifest in all levels and conditions of life. Just like, was it Gadadhar who was encouraged to who took initiation eventually from Pundarik Vijayanidhi. But when he first saw Pundarik Vijayanidhi, he had, the slick back hair, fine clothes, perfumes, he was a wealthy man, influential wealthy man. So Gadadhar thought, oh, this materialist, right? But as it turned out, Pundarik Vijayanidhi is the most advanced devotee. And in Krishna Leela was Rishabhanu Maharaj, right? And Gadadhar is the personification of Radharani's pure heartedness, right? So naturally, in Chaitanya Leela, It's entirely appropriate for Gadadhar to take initiation from Pundarik Vijayanidhi. But just by looking at the externals, and this is what the Bhagavatam teaches us, actually, that, you know, we can't rely on external manifestations to judge a person's bhakti. Although there are some manifestations that we can be wary of. So, or be aware of. So, one of the qualities that's mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita of a devotee and of Krishna is gunagrahi. He only sees the good, or he encourages the good, right? And adoshadarshi, doesn't see the faults. Although, of course, he does see the faults. He's not stupid, right? Don't be stupid. And the example that I like to mention is that of a cricket team, right? Which always goes down well in India. Right? And why is a cricket team a good example? Because you know, if the opening batsman doesn't get wickets, you don't complain. Why aren't you getting wickets? He's an opening batsman. If he's not getting runs, you can complain, right? But you coach him to be a good batsman. Same with the bowlers, right? If they don't hit runs, who cares? If they do hit runs, joy, right? But their job is to get wickets, right? So we look at the good qualities. Right? He's a good batsman. He's a good bowler. We look at it and we encourage that. We coach that even. We coach that. So in devotees, if somebody's chanting Krishna's name, joy, keep chanting. And we know, realistically we know, he's chanting Hare Krishna, but what baggage has he got? Who hasn't got any baggage? When you get on the Krishna train, did you come with baggage? Some of the baggage you didn't even realise you put in the carriage. You're in the carriage and you realise, hang on a second, what's that pile of garbage doing here? So in that mood, the devotees encourage and appreciate, and Krishna appreciates, right? But not silly, you know. We're not silly or oblivious to the fact that we'll personally be bringing, and you know, it's really interesting, isn't it? There's actually, a number of devotees have mentioned this to me. There's a statement in the disciple course where it says that when you take initiation, then the Guru accepts all of your karma. Right? But we know that's not true. And actually it's a misappropriation of a statement out of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, I think it is. And it's not actually correct. It depends on the qualification of the disciple. And if the disciple is very, 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 very qualified, then that might take place. Right? But it doesn't happen to everybody. Because, you know, how do you feel at 4 o'clock in the morning? How do you feel at 4 o'clock in the morning? You'll jump out of bed, Jai! Mangaladi ki Jai! 16 rounds, Jai! Haribol! Right? Hands up, those who do that. No, you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, you got some silly dream in your head. Right? So where's all this stuff coming from? Right? And what do? This is the amazing thing. What has Prabhupada given us? What has Rupa Goswami given us? What has Lord Chaitanya given us? 16 rounds, morning program, so that, you know, when you wake up in the morning you feel like blah. Right? But if you put in the effort, by prasadam time, which is not till quite a bit later on this afternoon, by the way, you feel great, right? You feel you've been elevated by the Maha Mantra, been elevated by the association of the devotees, by the kirtan, by the darshan, by the seva, and so you're on that transcendental platform, aren't you? You're still here, so you must be. Right? You're experiencing something. Right? Otherwise, you know, when you wake up in the morning, it ain't pretty. Is that right? It's like, oh. Except if you got jet lag. Right? So I woke up at 3:30 this morning. No, 3:30. Wake up at 3:30. Ooh, okay. It doesn't last long. See what I'm like tomorrow or the day after. So we see that we can experience that elevated, the elevation of Krishna consciousness, but it's not like there's a magic pill, right? Bloop, joy. It's quite a lot got to do with what's happening in here, right? Well, now I'm strangling myself. Yeah. So it's chanting Hare Krishna, right? And keep on chanting, and that's the real test of a devotee, right? Yes, chanted Krishna once, but keep going. Keep chanting. So that's why we've, Prabhupada, and even Prabhupada gave us a concession, right? Not 64 rounds, but 16 rounds. Could you imagine chanting 60? How many of you here have chanted 64 rounds at least once? Easy, huh? No, hard. By 7 o'clock at night, if I've been chanting all day, 7 o'clock at night, I'm close to 60. And those last 4, they're hard. Really hard. 32 to 40, you feel great. Paramahamsa. But then the Paramahamsa loses his shine as the day goes on. But how do you feel if you've chanted 64 rounds in a day? How do you feel? You feel great. Yeah. So, not elevated, quite fallen, but by the mercy of Prabhupada and the mercy of the devotees especially, those who preach the message of Krishna faithfully, don't concoct things, don't make things up. Share one's realizations by all means, right? But based on what we've been taught, what we've learned from the Bhagavad Gita and from the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, then, it's quite interesting. We're on a very low platform, but by that mercy, we can be elevated right to the top of the spiritual world and be in the company of the residents of Vrindavan, especially the gopis. Internally, I went on parikrama on Sunday. What was the Kodasi? Monday? Yeah, on Sunday. I walked around Vrindavan and I saw this man in a sari, dressed up like a gopi. Anyway, what they call Shaki Beki, right? They have the dress of a Shaki. So we don't do that. We follow in the footsteps. We have the same mood as the Sakis, or the Manjaris, actually. Yeah. Okay, I hope that answers your question. Bit of a ramble. Okay, all right. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Hare Krishna.